Hello everyone, Joe Fosco here with our recurring guest, Mr. Michael Magnifici with sports and other stuff.
Good afternoon, Joe.
How are you, sir?
Good, I'm good.
Good.
How are you doing?
Just recovering from that Cubs
Yeah,
disappointment.
I guess.
Well, you weren't totally surprised. You didn't.
No, I did. I wasn't totally surprised, and I don't think that, as a true Cub fan for all my life, I don't think that they should be disappointed in what the Cubs achieved this year. This was something that was kind of a surprise. But once you get there and you don't get it, you're still going to have some disappointment. Of course, I'm disappointed, but I look at it like it was great, and I think we're going to be there for a long time. I think that the Cubs need. It's obvious, going against the Mets with the four pitchers that they have, that DeGrom, Harvey, and Syndergaard, and then Madsen or Maz, whatever the heck his name is, they're going to be there for a while. And they've been kind of a pain in the butt for us for quite some time. If you remember in '69, the Cubs were up 9.5 games in August, and we lost to the amazing Mets, the Cleon Jones and Tommy Agees and the Tom Seavers of that year.
Sure.
And the Cubs blew the division, and the Mets went on to do what they did. But the Cubs are good. They got the bats. We just need a couple more arms,
Right.
I believe that. And this kid, Daniel Murphy, for the Mets, I mean, what is he, Babe Ruth? I mean, I don't know. The guy hit 15 home runs all year. He had 7 home runs in the postseason. 6 games in a row, hit home runs. And they brought up an interesting thing, and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. They talk about the curse. We always got the curse, the Billy Goat, the Black Cat. And this Murphy now becomes our curse too, because he's playing so well, right? And they had some things here that the curse, the owner of the Cubs in 1908 was a guy named Charles Murphy, owner of the Cubs. That's the last time they won a World Series. He was so hated that they wouldn't invite him to the celebration dinner after they won the World Series.
Sure.
He put a curse on the Cubs then, they said. Now, is it true? I don't know.
If the Ricketts family paid you enough money, would you kill him?
Charles Murphy? I'd have to kill him again. He's been dead for 1,000 years.
No, I'm talking about their current fella that.
Oh no, I don't know anything
the
about
Mets is the Mets has a.
Daniel Murphy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a good kid. You don't want to do that, Joe. Come on, you're talking crazy. And then in let me see here, Charles Murphy, and then in 45, the GOAT that wouldn't get allowed into the game.
Right.
You know what the GOAT's name was? Murphy. This is all true. I mean, at least that's what they're saying. It's amazing. The GOAT, 1984, the Cubs win the first 2 games. I was actually at the first game when they won 13-0. They lost the next 3 games to San Diego. You know the stadium that San Diego played at? You know what the name of the stadium was?
Well, let me guess.
Jack Murphy Stadium. I mean, this is something, you don't mess around with the baseball gods. You don't do that. You put your left glove on first and your right glove on second. You do 2 wraps and this and that. You get into the box and you're hitting good. Don't change it up. Don't screw up anything.
So you better not kill Murphy. I mean, the baseball gods, they're on his side.
The '69 Cubs, I mean, that broke my heart. I was a kid then. I was 7 years old, and that broke my heart. But the Cubs, they still got some. They got some stuff in front of them. You got St. Louis and Pittsburgh in their division, and they're great teams. They're not going away. Pittsburgh's a young team like the Cubs, and they're not going away. And St. Louis always puts a big product on the table. I mean, they're always going to be there. They're never going to go away. St. Louis is, they're the New England Patriots right now. Well, they've been that way for 100 years.
Sure.
They've always had, great team, the Gas House Gang and all that stuff. They're going to be there for a long time. But the Cubs, like I say, they put a couple good arms. They get one more arm. They got Lester, Arrieta. If they could just get one more guy, get 3, possibly 4, get 3 strong arms in there, it'll be okay. This hitting is going to be around forever. These kids are rookies. I mean, just to accomplish what they did, I don't think that any Cub fan should really be totally disappointed. We got a lot further than I thought we would get. And I don't know if I speak for most Cub fans, probably don't, because, once you get there, you want it all. That's normal. But I think that you should be proud of them, that they're there now, and let's just see what happens. I think they're going to be okay. And then, along the lines of baseball, you got Don Mattingly getting fired from the Dodgers. 5 years there, he gets 3 division titles. I don't think he got out of the first round in any of them. And they said they parted on mutual terms, so maybe they did,
Sure.
But But he's an old baseball school guy. He's kind of a little fiery, you know. And today, everybody with the money they make, you know, these guys, it's not like before where guys in the offseason were taking jobs because they didn't have enough money. You know, football players, notoriously, they worked and played football all year. They were working in the offseason. You know, they weren't working out like these guys do now because they got millions of dollars. They don't have to do anything to get themselves in shape. They do what they have to do to prepare for the season. Now these guys, they have to pay bills. They got kids, families, stuff like that. And these guys are a little temperamental. And his type of coaching is, you know, he's like in-your-face type guy. And I'm a big fan of. He's Donnie Baseball. I mean, what kind of nickname is that? Donnie Baseball. You know, I mean, that tells you what he is. He's about baseball. And I felt bad that he left, but he's going to find a job. He's going to find a job somewhere. But
No doubt about that. What else do we have here?
well, let me see here. Well, I was talking about the Mets pitchers.
Right.
I wanted to touch on get your opinion, actually. I wanted to ask you the questions about the
Can't wait.
Lamar Odom situation. I know that's a little off sports, maybe. He's the two-time champion in the NBA, and here's a guy that finds himself in a brothel in Nevada, ODing.
I don't think he found himself.
No, he didn't find himself. I misstated. Yes, I misstated. He was found unconscious with overdose of herbal Viagra and several herbal, whatever the hell they call it. And he was in bad shape. You know, he was
He's okay now?
Yeah, I don't know if I heard right or not. Did they do a kidney transplant on him?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I thought I heard that. Don't quote me on that. I didn't. Not my fault for not researching it a little better.
No big deal.
But
anybody could Google it and find out.
Yeah, I didn't know if they did a kidney transplant on him or not. But he was in bad shape. He was touch and go. He was on a respirator, and you know, the Kardashians, those wonderful people that they just were. His ex-wife, soon to be divorced, they filed in 2013. She was right there by his side. You know, cameras, obviously proper places to get everything so that the next year's one of their episodes, I'm sure.
I see.
And I just thought that was kind of crappy that they would do something like that. But, because I don't think that she could really give less than a darn about the guy. And obviously I'm cleaning up the words.
Yeah, sure.
But, they're just...
They march in the direction of opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
Their stepmother, Bruce, and their mother, their late father. I don't know so much about the late dad, but he was always on the coattails of O.J. Simpson, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the original lawyer.
Yeah.
He was the one that O.J. called first before he had the Dream Team lawyer team.
Even before that, I mean, they were close with the...
Yeah. He was, I wonder where he died like shortly after O.J.'s case.
I think so.
Yeah. And you never hear much about him. Like, they've been on for how many years now?
Right.
And you never hear like...
Once in a while, I think I've heard them talk about him in some interviews. They love him, they miss him.
Yeah.
That's
I wonder what he would think about all of this right now. But what they're doing to keeping up with
Well, he, I think, in a way, it might have been inadvertent, but he kind of created what we now see. He was always, from what I understand, if my memory serves me correct, he was either a contract lawyer, or sports lawyer, or both, or something.
Right. Probably an agent. I'm sure. I think I heard that he was an agent for some
I don't
players.
know for sure. I just don't remember it. I have no reason to remember. What's his first name? I even forget.
Rich Kardashian.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think it is.
Rick?
Rick
I don't
or Rich.
even remember.
I think it is.
So,
I'm pretty sure it is.
The late Kardashian Esquire, how's that? I know he was an attorney. From what I understand, he brought his daughters around all of the social gatherings that his profession, created in his schedule. And so that probably, helped the kids form greater interests and all of that.
I see, yeah.
High profile stuff and being seen in certain places.
Well, they certainly have made a hell of a living being seen.
They have,
And being seen in all kinds of compromising situations. I have seen several of those situations.
Yes, I have.
Does it seem to bother mom or dad or anybody else?
It's all about the money to some people.
Well, sure. And I guess $200 million a year makes you change your views about everything.
True, but I would like to think that where your children are concerned and where your integrity and your ethics are concerned, you should probably.
And that brings me
Not
up
be
to
so
my next thing
money-minded.
along the basketball thing.
Sure.
The thing that's going down in Louisville with Pitino, Rick Pitino, legendary Hall of Fame coach, coaching the NBA, coached I think he had a couple stints in the NBA. I think one with the Knicks, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Knicks. I forget who the other team he was. But Kentucky guy, first in Kentucky, a couple national championships, one with Kentucky, one here with Louisville. His recruits, the university is under fire for the fact that they say that there's been these sex parties going on. Recruiting kids from high school to come there. The guy like Rick Pitino, head coach, he literally sits down like you and I are sitting down. He sits down in a living room with the parents. And like you said, this is your kid. You're entrusting your kid to go maybe 1,000 miles away from home to go to school.
Yes.
Okay? And this guy's telling you he's going to be good. He's a great player. I'm going to be like a father to him. Everything's going to be good. And what he's basically has in his back pocket is this. He's got a contract, not a contract, but a letter of commitment to sign to go there. Now, how does he get the kid to go there? Well, he's got an assistant coach, this Andrew McGee, and allegedly there been some having strippers come there to the dorm. Now, the dorm it's an athletic dorm for the recruits and players that are already on the team. And this woman, Jesus, I'm sorry that I didn't have my facts together. I forget her name. I thought I remembered. But she was in charge of bringing the dancers there to do these dances like you would get in a strip club, which is like pretty much normal in a lot of these colleges. That's what they do to the recruits. Young kid, how do you get Tyson to come there? You get some girls dancing on the pole in the dorm, or you take them to the strip club, this and that. Well, what she was doing was prostituting these girls to them. And this guy, Andrew McGee, who was a former player.
Wasn't her own daughters?
That's what I was getting to. She pimped out her own daughter.
Yeah,
she had 3 daughters that were, and that's where, how credible is she? But if she's...
Is she from Georgia or Kentucky?
You know what, I'm not quite sure. I think you're right on your first...
Georgia.
Georgia, yeah. And she had her daughters providing sex for money.
But they were adults.
Well,
Not trying
the
to
third daughter,
clean it
there's a
up.
little question in whether she was 18 years old or not. I guess that's the age that you consider an adult or not, because she's the only one that didn't do an interview. The 2 older ones did, so I don't know. But she wrote a book, a tell-all book about what happened. And she said that over the course of 4 years, there was an excess of $10,000 to maybe $15,000 paid, which when you get down to it, it's really no money.
Sure.
And I guess they called them side deals. Like they would dance, these strippers would dance for the guys, the recruits, and they would offer, well, you want to do a side deal with them? And they were getting like maybe 100. The one girl said, they asked her, outside the lines of ESPN, asked her, so how much money did you get? And she says, I don't know, 100, maybe a little over 100, $120 to perform sex with these guys. So it's basically a prostitution thing that's going on in this
For
area.
120, what, this happened back in the 40s?
No, this happened like in 2014. Yeah.
Tiger Woods was writing checks out for $50,000 at a crack, for whatever, I'm not sure.
Well, I
what
guess
he was
Louisville
writing
doesn't have the
about.
budget that Tiger Woods has, And it certainly doesn't help to write more money because he got found out anyway. So I guess
Could be, she might be prudent and somewhat dishonest in her being prudent and does not want to disclose the right dollar amount because it wouldn't match up on whatever her income tax claims
possibly.
were.
Yeah, you have to take that all into consideration because you don't know. But it's, it's obviously very deplorable that the mother is...
Granted, I don't think she's writing in prostitution earnings on her income tax, but
No.
if there's some miscellaneous or other maybe escorting or modeling fees she's claiming that are income, it could be that,
Right,
she's claiming
no, I understand that she could
$40,000 a
possibly,
year.
yeah.
They might be giving her $40,000 a week,
Well, sure, I could understand where she possibly just doesn't want to disclose
Sure.
anything.
Right.
Just say it was very minimal and let me look like a goop, but I'm not going to have a problem with the IRS over
Yeah,
this.
sure.
This is nothing that I'm going to go to jail for tax evasion.
Right.
So, yeah, I could see that. But it's, the whole point of it is that Pitino's claiming that he had no knowledge of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm a big fan of Rick Pitino's for obvious reasons. I admire his coaching ability. I like the guy. I've seen him at You know, like at DePaul, I went to a couple DePaul games. I've seen him when he was with Kentucky. They played DePaul. I mean, I didn't see him like I see you right now, but I saw him from a distance, saw, you know, what you don't see on commercial breaks, you know, when you're watching a game.
Right.
Saw he handled himself with his play. He's a good guy, you know,
Yeah.
and everything I've heard, what I hear from, you know, local sports, you know, stations, ESPN, Fox Sports, whatever, he seems like a pretty good guy. Now, he himself has just had an allegation of having an affair. He's fighting that stuff just recently, like the last 2 years, that he was found out that he was cheating on his wife and having an affair. So he's used to this type of stuff. He's claiming he had no knowledge of it. Now, the point is that when you're the coach, that you're the CEO of 15 players on the bench here.
Sure.
And the dorm that allegedly was being used for these, you know, actions is a dorm that's named after his brother-in-law, his deceased brother-in-law. You know, so it's something that's close to him. He named the dorm after his brother-in-law. And, okay, maybe he didn't have knowledge of it. Maybe he doesn't know. Okay, I don't believe it, because I could see a head football coach that's got 53 starters and another 30 guys on, you know, practice squads and scout teams and stuff. Can't keep track of 90 guys, what they're doing all the time, you know, who's out getting drunk, who's getting...
None of this seems like a big deal, is it?
Well, it is, because he could lose his job, and there's gonna be stuff that's gonna go against the university. You know, that they may get barred I think they'll get barred from all postseason play. You know, they won't be allowed that. Lose scholarships. You know, you're allowed so many scholarships. Maybe you're allowed 50 scholarships to give out. Like a football team might have 50 scholarships. Like a basketball team might get 10, 20, I don't know. They might say you can't give out any scholarships. That just crucifies the program. It crucifies it. So it is a big deal. You know, I mean, none of this is jailable stuff, but it's NCAA violations.
Yeah, sure.
And these guys live by that. You know, this guy's living. He makes $5, $6, $7 million a year. And if he's of no use to that, I mean, not that he needs the money. He'd go ride off in the sun and golf every day.
Sure.
But it was something, you know, it was interesting to look at. But, you know, what are you going to do?
What, do you have some picks here?
Yeah, I do. A dear friend of mine, I'll just refer to him as Double L, who I respect his opinion a lot.
Oh, I think I know who that is.
You know what I'm talking about. He's got a couple of picks here. He's got a 2-star pick. He really likes Carolina today, which that actually coincides with mine, so maybe he's wrong on that one, because I like that too. But he likes Houston plus the 4.5, Carolina -3, and Atlanta minus the 6.5. But he likes a double star on Carolina. Myself, tomorrow night I like Baltimore. Today, which I don't even know the score, they were winning 7-0 when I left the house. But Detroit, the Jets, and I also like Carolina. And yesterday he called me up and he was like 6-1 in his picks. So he's been on fire. So the audience would like to take a shot at his picks there. Well, I'll repeat them again. He likes Houston.
Do you have a phone number they could call in to place a bet?
No, I do not. No.
Well, you don't do that anymore.
No, hell no. You can get on the computer. You go on any website. You can find somebody to bet with.
Right.
There's somebody there. But find one of the Kardashians. They're probably taking action right now. They're doing everything else. I don't know why they wouldn't get in the bookmaking business.
Right.
You know.
Sure.
But yeah, it's he was 6-1 yesterday. That's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, that is. It's fabulous. It's going to be interesting to see how he ranks for the next day or two.
Well, you know, this time of year is one of my favorite times of year because of you have the World Series of baseball playoffs. You got the college football. Basketball's coming up in another 2 days. Derrick Rose got on the court the other night with the mask on with that broken eye socket or whatever the hell it is. He looked good out there, but this kid, he just looks a little injury prone to me, you know. MVP 1 year, and then, you know, you don't get a full season out of him the next 3-4 years afterwards.
Yes.
You know, and I'm a Bulls fan. I love from the Jordan days, I always loved the Bulls. And I just hope that could stay healthy enough. They're not going to go anywhere this year, I don't think, but they'll get in the playoffs, and they're going to give me the hope, like all other Bulls fans, they're going to give you the hope that they could do something.
Sure.
And they just, you know, Cleveland looks like they're going to be there for a long time with LeBron and that crew, you know, Love and Kyrie Irving, you know, Tristan Thompson. They're going to be there forever, and it's going to be hard for us to get past them. They are going to be what Detroit was in the 80s. Remember, the Bulls couldn't get past Detroit. I used to go to those games.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't get past them. Detroit won 2 in a row. They never could get past them. And then when they did, if you remember the game, when they walked off the court, Detroit, there was like 9 seconds left in the game. Mm-hmm. And, usually it was the last game, and usually you shake hands and this and that. And before the game was over, all the starters, the game was a blowout, but Pippen and Jordan were on the bench, Horace Grant, and, the second string was in. And they walked off the court during the game. Didn't shake hands or nothing. Bill Laimbeer, John Sally, Rodman. That's before Rodman obviously was with the Bulls. Mm-hmm. And if you remember in the '92 Dream Team, when Jordan and all them, they call it the Dream Team, when that was, I think, one of the first years we were allowed to send our pros out there to play. We usually had just our college kids. We never sent our pro athletes. All the other countries with the Olympics send their pro athletes out there. We didn't. We only used our college athletes. So now we started sending our pros, and it was just a joke. We just dwarfed the whole world because our players are so much better. And Isaiah wasn't on that team, and that was Jordan. He carried that much clout that he says, if you want him on the team, you don't have me on the team. Because he never forgot what he did. And now I've heard that several times, through media things. I've heard that from guys that knew him personally, that he had a strict hard-on.
Did you ever golf with Jordan? I know we have an estranged mutual friend that...
Right.
A mutual friend that golfed with him.
I saw him at the golf course. I didn't golf with him.
You didn't golf with him?
I didn't golf with him. I saw him at the golf course with the person you're talking about.
Yes.
And he seemed like a nice guy. I saw him at a restaurant that a friend of mine owned downtown. It was Madison's right on Madison, just east of the United Center on the north side of the street. And I used to go in there all the time. And he would come in there after the playoff games, and they'd give him the back room. Yeah. And he'd be in there. Ahmad Rashad was as good. Ahmad Rashad was doing the play-by-play then, or the commentary on the game. And he had his, own little group of friends.
Sure.
I don't even. B.J. Armstrong was close with him. He would be there. I don't recall like Pippen. Pippen used to come to the restaurant once in a while, but not with the big party that Jordan had. Like I say, he had the back.
It's your friend Clarence's restaurant.
Yes.
Former restaurant.
Former restaurant, right? And he'd come in there and he'd order Long Island iced tea, big tall.
Who was this?
Jordan.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he gulped down about 2-3 of them. Well, I mean, after a game like that, I mean, Jesus.
Three Long Islands, a guy his size at least. That's like a little mouthwash.
Right.
So did one of your dear friends, who is now of late, has been gone a while, he has a grandson. I'm not going to mention names, but I think you'll figure out who I'm referring to. He has a grandson who's been a little outspoken with certain friends of ours over the years. Is it clicking with you?
No, but I'll get to it. Go ahead.
And he has a sister whose husband is a friend of Michael Jordan's.
Oh, okay.
And according to the grandson of your late friend, and that's my source.
Right.
I've heard him, brag about it 1,001 times all over the place. That Jordan used to call his sister's home to ask for her husband, and when he would announce his name, they'd all get excited and everything. But the point I'm making is, it was nice that people like Clarence had a back room for him. Never really tried to showboat any.
No, he did. He respected the man's privacy.
Like this kid I'm talking about. How do I know that Michael Jordan would call his sister's home? It's intimate information.
Exactly. And that has to be true information.
Sure.
I mean, it didn't click to me who you were talking about, but knowing who you're talking about, that was absolutely.
This is a long time now. This isn't recent.
Well, who knows if they're still friendly on some basis?
Oh, I'm sure they are. Yeah. But I'm saying this information I'm sharing with you, this story is an old story. It's nothing.
Yeah, he liked it. He liked coming in the restaurant because nobody messed with him. Mm-hmm. My friend Clarence would make sure that he was private, had his own little thing there. Nobody went there and bothered him.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, guys like him, I get a little starstruck. Athletes I do, not anybody else. You could bring the president in here, and I'd be like, it's the librarian coming in here and say, "Time's up, you got to go." And I'd be good one, get out of here. Because I'm not impressed by that. But Michael Jordan, I'm impressed. Vicky Mantle coming in, I'm impressed. That does a Jack Nicklaus, I'm impressed. Any big time sports guy, yeah, I get impressed by that. I do. I know it's stupid and silly, but I do. I'm just being honest that I do get impressed by that. I do get a little starstruck around the athletes because they do something that's, to me, it's something that I know I can't do. And
you're pretty athletically inclined.
Well, yeah, and that still gets you about at the bottom of the barrel. That just goes to show you how athletic. And getting around to this year, I wanted to just tell you about my
some relatives of yours know.
Well, my girlfriend's daughter, Caitlin, wonderful girl. She went to school with this kid that just got on the Hawks. He's a rookie. His name is Vince Inestroza. Went to Notre Dame, got drafted out of there. She went to kindergarten through, K through 6 through, high school till he started probably, getting noticed about his ability for hockey. And went on, and I saw him on an interview. My girl Tina told me, come out here and watch this. I was watching sports, and here I am watching this kid doing an interview. She goes, that kid was in my house a lot of times, and what a nice kid. And he seems like a great kid. Got drafted by Notre Dame. He's a big prospect in the NHL.
I love to hear stories like this.
Yeah, and
wish him a lot of luck.
That's special. Yeah,
that's good. Out of Bartlett,
it was Bartlett. He played hockey all his life and got drafted by Notre Dame, and then the Hawks got him. And he's like no scrub. He's going to be something great. They're really high on his potential.
Speaking of the Hawks and that recent controversy about Cain and that whole rape investigation, if it was even a rape investigation, I never read any documentation on the matter, so all I know is what the rumors were. Is that all over with?
I don't think so. I think that's still going on, and it's so hard to comment on things like that because you don't know could you believe it? Yeah, I guess you can. The way things are these days, you hear so many things that go on in college campuses. The Jameis Winston thing at Florida State. The girl, she swears that it was a sexual assault, and the police down there, they didn't want to press charges and this and that. I do believe a lot of favoritism goes on for athletes in these college towns. Colleges are more inclined to give breaks to the college kids than the pros are inclined to give for a DUI or something like that. The police seem like they're more hard on the professionals than they are on their college athletics is so big.
With this being so prevalent, where sports celebrities are given so many benefits, the benefit of the doubt, for one, in cases of sex crimes. I mean, females or anyone out there who is actively pursuing or even accidentally comes in contact with some sort of a meeting with a sports celebrity, and once it gets to a level where now there's alcohol and you're in a private place, I think at this point the potential victim has some kind of responsibility to their self to kind of be careful.
Yeah,
just be careful, and not even solely with sports celebrities, but anyone. Just be careful when you go to someone's home or hotel room.
Yeah, no, it's a little.
Be careful.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I'll give you a but to it. It's a little easier said than done.
Yes.
Because you have these athletes that come out of high school. They've been approached by agents since they were like 16 years old.
Yes.
They don't even have their license yet. They're driving on a permit with an adult in the car, so they can drive a car, and then they get a license, and they got an agent saying, when you get out of college, they've already forecasted that, once you get out of college, I'm going to get you in the pros, you're going to play for blah, 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 you're going to make all this, but their minds are, I don't know how I know how I would let me rephrase. I know I'd like to think that I would react to all that promise and all that money and glory and stuff, that I'd be able to handle it, but probably not, because these kids, so now when they get in these situations with these girls, they feel invincible. They're above the law, they're above anything. But you're right, though, these girls do put themselves in these situations.
I'm not saying they put themselves. If my message came across like that, let me clarify it. I don't think children, I don't think women are putting themselves. I'm not trying to blame, and I think I may have sounded as if I were trying to blame the victim. I'm not
Right.
at all. A victim is never wrong.
Right.
You know, the victim is the victim. But with all of these cases, there's been several cases in the media over the years where there's an issue with sex investigations, sex allegations, with prominent people, sports celebrities, etc. Women in general should just be very careful that they're not victimized too. They should
Right.
prevent being victimized at all costs.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
You know?
Right. Looking into, like trying to foresee what possibly could happen is a good hindsight to have, to say before, maybe I don't want to get in
A
this situation.
hotel party with a bunch
you know
of
that it's not
people.
gonna, right, it's not gonna be,
Just don't go.
we're not going there to
Just don't
read
go.
poetry, there's alcohol and there's
Or
athletes.
Go with a number of friends and all
Right.
leave together.
Exactly.
Don't go off.
Oh, yeah, there's certain safeguards that you can do,
sure.
and you just don't know, and it's a shame that it happens,
Mm-hmm.
and it's happening a whole lot. It's happening a lot more than we know about. Just that this is what we're hearing about,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a shame. It really is. I mean, if it is, and you don't know who really is the victim. Is the accused the victim? That this is just somebody trying to. You don't know.
You don't really know.
You don't
what's
really
going
know,
on.
and you just hope that it just stops altogether.
And on the other hand, if I had a son who was just got a 2-year contract or 3-year contract with the Blackhawks for $40 million, I would sit him down and say, look, son,
Oh, wow.
I would give him the same advice I just offered right now for
Right.
potential
You do the same,
victims.
yeah.
Don't
Don't put yourself in a situation.
go in a private place with someone you don't know well.
Right. Well, and that's what I
Have friends with you.
that's what I
You
look
know?
at, is that these people, these young kids, it seems like they surround themselves with nothing but people that just want to capitalize on their fame and fortune. And they really don't, like look at Tyson and then Don King, Tyson, wasn't he fine with Customato? I mean, he was
True, but he was so young that,
Yeah, but Joe, the minute he got away from Cuss, he got with Don King. Don King didn't have the care for him that Customato did. Customato, like you just said, if I had a son, Customato treated him like a son.
I agree with you. I mean, I shouldn't say I entirely agree with you. I understand where you're coming from
Right.
with that. And my late father actually had the same mentality on this particular issue than you do, or viewpoint, I should say, not mentality. I've heard other people, friends of ours, have the same viewpoint.
Right.
But we can't, Mike Tyson has to be responsible for being Mike Tyson and not Cusimato's client.
No, absolutely.
Right. He has to function appropriately, no matter who's in his life.
I agree with
Yeah.
you, but it seems like you are who you surround yourself with. If you're around good people, you're a good person, usually. Not to say all, it's not 100%
Yeah.
foolproof,
Right.
but usually you're around good people,
Yeah.
you're a good person.
Yeah.
Because you know what? This is all you know.
Right.
This is all you know. I'm around Joe, good guy. And I'm
Thank
doing a
you.
good thing.
Likewise.
Yeah, and you're doing a good thing.
Around you.
But when you're around scumbags that are just looking to get in your pocket and they're and you come home, you go out, well, I'm gonna go over by this club over here. Yeah, go ahead, buddy, have a good time, and he's got one hand in his pocket and he's, getting a limo for him and slamming the door and letting him go off and do his thing, knowing that it's trouble waiting to happen.
Yes.
And they just let it go, where he would say, wait a minute, this is not the situation you want to put yourself into. This, you're Mike Tyson, you're, Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs, you're this, you're that, you're LeBron James. You don't want to get yourself in this situation.
Right.
You don't need this, okay?
Right.
You want to have some fun? Have some fun privately. Go somewhere. There's a lot of fun to be had.
And with people you know very well, because if you go privately with someone, especially two people of opposite sex that don't know each other, and they're off in a private place, and
Then anything could happen. And then, yeah.
you're
But that's not what I meant. I meant with comfortable surroundings around
Yes.
you, with people that aren't gonna jackpot you and get you in trouble, And I see that with young athletes all the time, that they just continually,
I think it's part of being young, you know, you just.
I know, and listen, I made 1,000 mistakes. I'm not sitting here gonna say, what I'm saying that for them to do, I'm not saying I never did, you know, obviously a much smaller scale, got myself in trouble 1,000 times, not that type of stuff, but I mean, relatively speaking, it probably was equal, you know, silly things, getting in fights and stuff like that, dumb things, driving mistakes, you know, all of that stuff. But I just don't understand when you have the means for the money. I don't understand an athlete that makes $10 million a year getting a DUI. I don't get it. I don't understand why he would ever get behind the wheel of, okay, go out.
I think that, and I might be inappropriate, or I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to speak on behalf of both of us, and I'm putting some personal business out there, but I'm not just saying anything crazy.
Right.
Yeah. We both grew up in families that had political connections and other connections. We both grew up around people of the same kind. It was a small society of people in Cook County where for some period of time in our lives, we were able to do things and not be held accountable for those things. Whether they be going through a stop sign, knowing that Sergeant so-and-so is not gonna write us a ticket for that. Or if he does, he'll be a patrolman again.
Right.
You know, and growing up in that kind of an atmosphere where you're taught that way of life, and you see it from the time you're a minor, it provides a very difficult road ahead, because when circumstances change, like they have for us, when certain relatives and friends die off or other things occur, now we're in a situation where we lived our whole lives knowing we don't have to be accountable for certain things, and then it hits us all at once that we have to be accountable.
Right.
You know, and I don't even know why I got on that subject.
Well, it's relative to what we were talking about, that the same thing with athletes, how they're growing up being not accountable for their actions.
Bieber guy, what's his name? He's a celebrity. Is it Justin Bieber?
Yeah, the kid.
He's a Canadian.
Yeah.
He gets into trouble all the time.
Right. And gets out of it all the time.
Well, because he could, you know, he probably, a lawyer will say, I'll handle it for $50,000, and he gives the lawyer $200,000.
Yeah, he gets one of those light tickets where where they're filming on a thing there, and he makes the right turn on a red without making a complete stop, and it's just $100 fine. He'll go pay a lawyer $20,000 and get it off his record without paying the fine, because he's got the money to do it. So he's used to getting off of everything, like athletes are. Mm-hmm. But if you see that these athletes, especially in the NFL, they're not getting that break anymore. They're not. The NFL is, they have a clause in their conduct clause. It's not proper conduct for an NFL player, and they're fining them. Guys are making, guy that makes $12 million a year. What is he making a year? He's making what, $400,000 a game, $500,000 a weekend. On Monday morning after the game, he goes and goes into the office, or it's mailed to his house. He has a check for $500,000. All of a sudden you're suspended for 6 games.
Yes.
You don't have that check anymore.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I don't care how much money you have. I think Donald Trump would get upset if somehow he was penalized $500,000, which doesn't mean anything to him, right? It shouldn't.
Probably.
I think he'd be upset
about
it.
His wife spends more than that in an afternoon
She spends that at lunch. Her lunch after having lunch, you go to the
I don't think
department
she
store.
eats that much. Have you seen her?
No, I'm saying that after lunch they go for
All right, so, well, great. We're going to follow these picks.
And we got the World Series coming up, Kansas City, and just so everybody knows, I hope all Cub fans are cheering for KC, because we certainly don't want to see the team that sent us to the showers quickly and 4 games win. So I'm cheering for Kansas City. I do believe they have a good shot to win. I'm a little afraid of what I saw that pitching staff do to our Cubs, a hitting club that's one of the best in Major League Baseball, if not the best. how they shut them down. They're pretty scary. You know, I got to give credit where credit is due, and the Mets are pretty scary with that. And pitching wins championships. Hitting gets you into the playoffs. Pitching wins you the championship.
Gets you to the finish line.
Get you to the finish line, and they have it. You can put those guys, you know, they don't have to set up that lineup, and he could put all those 4 names in the hat: Syndergaard, Harvey, DeGrom, and Madsen, and throw them up in the air. Whichever one lands closest, he said, well, he's going to pitch game 1, this one's going to pitch game 2. It doesn't matter. That's how good they are. I've never seen a staff like that in
That's great.
quite a long time, you know. But
Will you come back soon?
Absolutely.
About a week or so?
Absolutely.
Great, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.